So here we'll start with how to first log into the program before any data has been entered. So to do that, you have to log in as what we call the super admin, which is kind of the admin is the highest level of access in our class hierarchy. Basically, to log in for the first time, you'll log in using the username A1 at KAPJAK.com, and then the password is just the user ID without the email. So it's just will just be A1 in this case. And going forward in the future, let's say that the user ID is U6. The user ID is U6 at KAPJAK.com. The password will just be U6. So here we log in, and now we can see the only user is the super admin. There are no patients, and so this is what the admin management window looks like. So you can see we have the ability to add a user, remove a user, edit a user info in this query. And over here, the button's changed. We can register, and we'll see all these functionalities later. But first, we will start out by creating a new user. So to do that, we will go add user. And then phone number assumes an 8-digit phone number, and this is assuming that the healthcare or the hospital is in one country, so it's not like you would be having individuals with a separate country code coming in. So perhaps this could be assumed to be +45 if it's in Denmark, or really anywhere else. It's just assume that it's an 8-digit phone number, so I guess it's kind of arbitrary at this point, but it has to be 8 digits, or else the error checking will catch it and it won't accept it. So anyway, so we'll make a doctor in the inpatient department. Okay. So now we have this user ID generated, name, department, email, and phone number. So yeah, so we can go in and add, let's see, more doctors. Let's add a nurse in the emergency department. So you can see this, the user ID function works so that every individual in the hospital, patients included, has a separate ID that's basically the identifying character, and then the integer. Okay, that should be good for now to just kind of get some started here. Okay, so now that we have some health stuff added in, we will take a look at patient registration and admission. So to first register patients, we'll go in, enter this all these fields, and it's important to note that the date of birth has to be in the day, month, year format, with the year being 4 digits long. So okay, so now this patient, and you can see how his unique patient ID comes up here. So he's registered in the system, but not admitted to a department yet. So we can admit him to a department. We'll say inpatient, and so now he is an admitted patient in inpatient department, but he does not have a bed. So in order to manipulate the bed capacity in a department, you need to go into this edit beds um, window. So just emergency and inpatient have beds because outpatient is the type of care that would just include kind of just a quick visit and then go home. So with this window, of course, you just have the choice between emergency and inpatient. So we'll go in and add some beds to emergency, and you can see also here that the beds also have an ID, so that kind of makes it easier to identify. It makes a specific bed gives it a unique identifier. Um, so we'll add some to inpatient. Okay, so now we can assign Brand to a bed, and so now he is assigned to bed B11 in inpatient. If you look in here, that is the first bed in the inpatient department. So let's see. So now, let's say we want to write in Brand's record, say patient suffered okay. So now we have his medical record loaded in. So he's a fully admitted patient. So he's all good. I guess we can register another patient just for sake of having a couple examples. They live at the same address. Okay, and so now we have John Snow registered. He has his unique patient ID. So now we can admit John Snow to be, let's see, outpatient. And then we can add another patient. Okay, we will admit Jorah Mormont to emergency. And so John Snow will not be able to be admitted to a bed because he's an outpatient, but we can assign Jorah Mormont to a bed. And so he's on B7, and if you look in emergency, B7 is in fact a bed. So that's a little bit about how to add patients and users. So now I guess we'll look at isolating the department. So if I search, let's say I want to look at all of the users in the management department. Search for that, and now we have admin and Peter Baelish. Now if I want to search for a specific user D2, now Census Start comes up. Lastly, if I want to search for someone by name, there we go. Okay, and we'll show the same for patients. By department, we can isolate department by searching for inpatient, or we could also search by patient ID, like that. So we have a lot of flexibility with these search capabilities here. Um, so now I think it would be a good idea to go in and look at the access hierarchy among the staff types. So what we see now is the admin. So of course there would be other administrators registered in the system other than super admin, but it's kind of just the initial administrative requirement, I guess. So now we will log in as a doctor, and we already logged in as census, so we'll log in as. Okay, so now we can see all of these patients and their beds, and so also this is an important thing about the hierarchy here is that as a doctor I can check this patient's medical records. So it looks like this I accidentally entered this twice, but anyway, so this the record entry has a timestamp and just basically reports what what the doctor's entered. So that's kind of a important, I guess, facet of the doctor access level. And so here also all of this search capability still works for that. So now we can log in as a nurse. I think it was N4. I'm not positive. Yeah, cool. Okay. So essentially the same thing for a nurse. You just, I guess the only thing that's different about a nurse and a doctor is the label and the role. But as far as the access level goes, they can both see records, they can both edit the record, and both register and admit, discharge, edit patients. So nurse is essentially the same. So now we'll look at user. And user is what is particularly different because here we have no way of checking Brand Stark's record, which is typical of more front desk position in a office. There would be no need for a clerk to edit or check the record of a patient. So that access level or that access is granted to health staff kind of up the hierarchy. So, but yeah, users can still see patient IDs, patient information, and like beds that have been assigned, and have these search capabilities as well. So now we'll take a look at this advanced query functionality that we have that kind of just allows for quick lookup of certain hospital statistics. So we can look up something like department with the most users, and it gives us emergency. So yeah, that just kind of, I guess, offers a little bit more information and insight into certain aspects of the hospital. So yeah, lastly, an important aspect of our system is a persistence layer that stores our data even when the application has been closed out. So we can completely exit the application, start it again, and log in. And there we have all of our data still. So it's kind of a cool and important feature. So I think that covers the functionality of our software.